Well, hello there everyone, it's UXW Bill, and you guessed it, it's another Allis-Chalmers 8070 tractor air conditioning video. Folks, I'm really hoping this is the end of this saga. I'm sure a lot of you are probably hoping that same thing as well. I don't really feel that we're 100% ready to do this, but the owner of the tractor wants us to try and charge it with the repairs that have been made so far. So I've got the vacuum pump running down here. My father's up there putting the lid on the tractor and at least a couple of the bolts in. And now I'll tell you what my concern is. I've been unable to pull a particularly deep vacuum and have it hold on this system. So I brought it up with nitrogen and a trace amount of refrigerant gas yet again, just to see if I could find another leak. Everything passed, but it seems like we have a problem here. And it seems like the problem is not actually in the crimp here at the end of the hose, but rather it's in the end of the hose itself. And only with a leak detector set to its maximum sensitivity setting was I able to get a reliable hit here. I mentioned this to the owner. This is the hot liquid refrigerant hose that ends up going up to the cab. And to do that, it takes a path that would be difficult to retrace. It goes back in through here with these other hoses, and then it comes along underneath the cab. I don't know if we can see it, but it goes up this corner of the cab, and it's actually two hoses. There's a connection point underneath the cab somewhere. I don't even know how you'd get to it. I don't know if you'd have to loosen the cab on this thing and lift it up. I also don't know how easy it would be to run the hose up to the evaporator coil. You'd think that this corner of the cab, which is what is covering that hose, would come off, but it looks like it's been welded in spots. So I'm not sure that it will, like right here. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's easier than I think. But the owner of the tractor has spoken. He wants to try charging the thing. He doesn't want to go to the expense of replacing that hose. So although I do have some objections and concerns, we're going to do it anyway. And I got to be honest with you, the pucker factor on this one's a little high. Just because I don't want to blow up a lot of very expensive parts, including a very expensive compressor, in very short order. And the biggest thing that gives me any pause about that, AP Air says that the required oil charge for this system is 9 ounces. And I went ahead and put that in on the compressor. Some of it ran out of the low side, the suction side of the compressor, and I'm not sure if I have too much oil in there, and I certainly don't want the compressor to destroy itself trying to compress that oil. I also went ahead and stuck the rest of the oil in here. I estimate that I probably lost about 2 ounces, and I think my vacuum pump is trying to tell me something, so I better shut this off. But I put the rest in the filter dryer. And now let's go tend to this. Put a fresh battery on it. We've got the front grille back on, all bolted up in place. Our helper fan is permanently wired. Our new coolant surge tank is in place. Got one side panel of the tractor on so that we have hopefully some airflow over the condenser coil above and beyond what that helper fan back there can provide. But this side's got to stay off because, well, I got to work on this side. My refrigerant cylinder, this one's pretty much down to just the slightest amount of liquid, so we're probably going to have to switch cylinders somewhere along the way. I've gone ahead and wired everything up. These are the power points that are switched by the 2 relays on the compressor, one for the helper fan, one for the compressor itself. The helper fan runs anytime that the switch in the cab ceiling is calling for cooling. The other relay that governs the operation of the compressor clutch is controlled not only by the in-cab switch, but also by these 2 pressure switches, which if things get plugged up and out of hand out front, I certainly hope will serve to save the day. Because this system did not have any meaningful high pressure protection on it with the old compressor. It's kind of funny, or maybe ironic is a better choice of words, that as we're wrapping this project up, we're to that time of the year where during the day, it's usually hot enough that you might still need air conditioning, but at night, it's definitely not. So here we are, we're ready to start charging. Like I say, there's barely any liquid in this cylinder. We're probably going to have to switch it out, but We'll give it just as much as it'll take under vacuum. Just heard a pressure switch make. We're at half a pound. Seems like we've slowed way down. So we're probably going to have the compressor help us put the rest of it in here in a little bit. Okay, folks, we're very near the 3 pounds, and it looks to me like the sight glass is clear. Over here and check it. So I believe we will stop there. Folks, I'll step back a little bit so you can maybe hear me. I've got ear protection on, so I can barely hear myself. As you've got to, that thing is just all-consumingly loud. I don't really like that suction pressure. It is lower than I would like to see it. But if there's one thing that I have noticed about working on multiple automotive systems, it's that they tend to run low suction pressure for some reason or another. I should probably study that sometime. But we're roughly 30 degrees above ambient on the condensing side, maybe a little high there as well. But I'm going to call this system good. My father says it's cooling well in the cab. I don't think we could ask for too much more. And as far as the leak in the hose is concerned, we'll just have to see how long the charge lasts, and we'll have to see how the tractor does. I do think, from having felt the condenser coil, even with this restriction on it, that another helper fan would be good if only there was room. And I had thought that maybe we could do a pusher fan on the front, but I just don't think there's any way to get it behind that grill. Okay, let's go ahead and close this up real quick, because I'm sure you want me to be done with this series of videos. I want to be done with this series of videos, but somehow I can't shake the notion that I'm probably going to see this tractor again. I'm hoping not. I'm really hoping not. We've got just shy of 3 pounds of refrigerant in here. We cleared the sight glass. What we've got now is so much more like an air conditioner than what we had. Had about 50-degree air blowing from the vents in the cab with about an 84-degree ambient or thereabouts. I am a little concerned by the amount of vibration that's going on here and how that's going to affect those relays over time. Probably just going to be one of those things we'll have to watch and see. We will have to retighten our belt. We had it pretty tight, and of course now that it's heated up and run for a while, it's quite a bit looser than it was. I already said that I think that helper fan is definitely a very good idea, and that I wish I could have put 2 of them on here, because I think that would be an even better idea. But folks, the owner of this tractor is eager to have it back, to say the least, and I'm certainly eager to have it out of here. And we'll just have to see how it fares when he's actually farming with it. I'll show you one more thing here that I find kind of interesting. You're looking at the injection pump for the diesel engine, and the thing that I find very interesting about it, clearly it's been serviced at some point in its life, because Northeast Diesel Service of Missouri Incorporated worked on it. But I find it interesting that the injection pump says it was manufactured for Navistar International Corporation. I forget when exactly their name changed, but wasn't that somewhere around the late 80s, early 90s that they became known as Navistar? Maybe mid-80s? I don't remember exactly when they got out of the farm equipment business. I think it was probably sometime in the 80s, and that the name change came a little later, but no matter, did Allis-Chalmers at some point make something for International and put their name on it? Or did International Harvester or Navistar International by that point use an Allis-Chalmers engine in something? Are these pumps more universal than I might think? I don't know. If you have any thoughts, or if you happen to be a diesel engine technician, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. But for everyone else, including diesel engine technicians, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. And as always, I am certainly interested in hearing your constructive commentary. Okay, so I had definitely hoped to have this video well and truly closed up. And again, I'm sure all of you in the viewing audience did as well. But I just want to share with you something in closing that really makes me mad. I'm just amazed by this. And I mean, is stuff really being made this poorly these days? Did I just have bad luck? I really don't think so, because this is not the only one of these I've had do this in recent times. And unless I happen to get it to reseal just now, I want you to listen very carefully to what happens when I take this cap off. This is the high side service fitting. I've got it cranked on there pretty tight. Maybe I got it stopped, but I thought I heard a little just now. That's a brand new part. That thing's never been used before. And you're telling me it's bad already? I went ahead and turned the camera light on so that maybe you could see in there a little bit better. It's still an extremely awkward angle, and I don't think I can capture it. I might have gotten it stopped, but that just bugs me. It's a brand new part. This shouldn't be leaking. What's going to happen when this overhaul has a few more miles on it than it does now? I want this to be over. I really do. I'm not going to lie. And I'm definitely going to call AP Air and see what they say. And if they say anything or offer to replace it, I will certainly update the video description accordingly. I can get that off there, hopefully without losing too much of the charge, although I could certainly recover it if I had to, because there is a Schrader valve core underneath that adapter fitting, thankfully.